Wanna live a life.
That guy did. Oh my gosh! Surprise, motherfucker! What? Oh my god, you're fucking crazy! What is up, you smexy individuals? My name is Birdman778 and welcome to another thematic build video. Today, we're doing the long-awaited finale of the Avatar The Last Airbender series, and this is Airbender Flak. Video, I want to make sure you guys know, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Birdman778, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have some other streams sprinkled in between there, so make sure you stay up to date on my social medias, twitter.com/Birdman778, instagram.com/BirdmanGram, and then here on YouTube, youtube.com/Birdman778. Hit the thumbs up button, hit that sub, and let's get going. So when it came to this build, I was having a lot of kind of troubles figuring out how to blend the idea of Airbender in with Flak. Whether it was going to be using rack Flak, using fadeaway, definitely not Gamma. Gamma, I knew didn't work at all for it. So again, it was just kind of this give and take. Does what's rack going to give me, and what is fadeaway going to give me? And just for overall survivability and just the current state of the game, I decided to go with fadeaway. Now, why we went with fadeaway? Just because you're able to essentially get movement speed using one of the augments. I think with this build, making Flak as fast as humanly possible is really key, because that helps match just the idea of an airbender. Airbenders are fast, quick on their feet, stuff like that, so we want Flak to be just the same. But with the overall style of the build, that's where it kind of comes in a little different. We decided to go URAD with this one, mainly because of a couple weapons we have here. Now, you're gonna notice that we don't have anything that's like Malawan, maybe an air cannon like at the frequency or something like that. I felt as though when kind of messing around with it, it didn't really work for the build. It was essentially just going to be just a trinket, you know, but I wanted this build to actually have some viability to it, so we decided to go URAD. URAD with the Unkempt Herald, the Maggie, and then the Dakota. Now, Dakota is actually one of the fun parts of this build, just because I think it's an awesome weapon from DLC 3, Bounty of Blood. I never really get to use it all that much, just with the other builds I do, but it works so well with Flak that I had to try it out. But then we also have a redundant face puncher with 300% over 90. This is going to be more one of those guns like if we have an enemy that is fresh health, something like that, we go fade away, just run up, shoot him in the head, GG, well played. But again, reason why we're going the URAD route is because we're going to get a lot more damage out of Flak, especially with fadeaway. In regards to our equipment, we're using a front loader with action skill and regen health. This is a really good one for especially the fact airbenders. When stuff gets weird, they kind of run and hide at times. So that's the same thing. We're going to go fade away, run out, and as soon as our action skill is over, we're going to start regenerating our health again. Now, our health isn't going to be all that much since we're using a front loader, but it's going to be enough that, you know what, you're in a tight spot, you're able to get your health back, your shield's back up, you're good to go. We're using a Cosmic Stalker with weapon crit, weapon damage, and pistol damage with +2 in interplanetary and +3 in the big game. I love the Cosmic Stalker so much as a comm for Flak, just for the fact of that hunter skill power increase it gives it. I think Flak actually has some of the best comms out there. I could be wrong. I mean, if any Flak players want to comment down below, let me know what your opinion is of your favorite comm, but this is my favorite, at least. We're using a Hunter Seeker with ASE Cryo, and then also a Snowdrift Victory Rush. Now, with both these items, they actually introduced Cryo into the build in some way, shape, or form, and that was kind of where I was like, man, is this going to meld well? Is this not going to meld well? I figured it did, just purely off the fact that, I mean, air can be super cold, so I figured why not? Just one item of the build that might be a bit of a stretch, won't be that big of a deal. And the Snowdrift I really like, just for the fact it gives us that extra slide speed and just kind of makes Flak all around faster. Looks wise, I decided to go with the classic Airbender colors, and then we use this air respirator mask as well. I thought it was really neat. In regards to our skill tree, obviously we're really heavy into the red tree, but green tree obviously is what's going to introduce fadeaway, and that's probably one of the more important parts of the build. We decided to do fadeaway with Gorillas in the Mist, and then Until You Are Dead. Now, Gorillas in the Mist, I really like that just because we're able to get more shots in during the fadeaway, and it actually kind of helps us with just I don't know, just getting more damage, I feel like. Because at the same time, we might use Fade Away to run, but we also want to use Fade Away to do damage as well. So just that little bit of a boost to it is super nice. And then Until You Are Dead, because we get health regen and the movement speed, Fade Away. I think it's super awesome, just for the fact that, again, we're adding speed onto Flak in some shape or form. We decided to go with Lick the Wounds, especially on this build, just because, I mean, airbenders like are really in tune with their animal companions. We see that with Aang, with Momo, and Appa. They always love each other, so we figured let's give the pet a little bit of love, make the pet help us out a lot, and that goes into like turn, tail, and run as well. We're able to kind of get that regen health, the damage reduction, running away, stuff like that. All my BFFs, allies, and Flak's pet get that health regen. Eager to Impress, we're getting our action skill up faster, which is really good for Grills in the Mist. And then Furious Attack. In regards to the blue skill tree, I decided to go less into the Furiosity, just because our pet's not really a focus. Our pet is more of a draw aggro. But we want to give him a little bit of a boost. But we did Persistence Hunter, just so we get the extra gun damage, action skill, duration. Again, I want Fade Away being as efficient in all the different realms, whether it's evading an attack or actually attacking. And then Frenzy, just because Hunter skills are great. We ended up going with the Great Horn Skag, just because I didn't feel like the Scorcher I didn't feel like the Scorcher really worked at all for the build, just because it's fire related. But I tried to use the Jabber, and honestly, I think the Jabber is just kind of a waste of a pet. I'm really hoping that if they do introduce a 4-skill tree, that we get something like a Thresher, something like that actually might be able to be a viable third pet. Because I feel like right now it's like Scorcher, Skag, lots of space, Jabber. Jabber just doesn't feel useful to me. But again, we went the Great Horn Skag just to get that extra gun damage as well. Now, Red Tree, we have really outfitted here. Obviously, we have Interplanetary Stalker. We want to get those 100 kill skills. Leave No Trace, Head Count, Hunter's Eye, Two Fang. We have that extra points in the big game. We have 5 points in a Grim Harvest, Megavore, Galactic Shadow. This tree, I wanted to just boost up Flak as much as humanly possible, those 100 kill skills. And you're going to notice in the build itself, it helps us a lot. But again, this is like no crazy different build than anything else that's been made out there. It's a URAD build, but at the same time, it's able to really take advantage of some abilities like Fade Away with URAD as well. In regards to our Mayhem modifiers, obviously needed Speed Demon. Speed Demon had to be in it. Speed, Airbender speed, whatever. Healy Avenger, really like that as always, just because it's a way to get yourself back up and also get health. Ticked Off, we don't really have any, there's like actually no status effects in this build at all, so it wasn't really a worry for me to have those. And then Buddy System just as another way to get ourselves back up and also not having to deal with death going around. Oh my gosh, it's been so refreshing to finally have a decent roll with Speed Demon and Healy Avenger and then Buddy System, and not having to worry about the skull just like coming from behind me and being like, I'm gonna get you, you know. So these are the ones, and again, I'm really trying to make these Mayhem modifiers really meld well with the build as in general, take advantage of these things. So things like Ticked Off, that used to be like something that I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I'm like, well, you know what? That's a really good middle ground one for this build because it doesn't depend on status effects. But obviously, we always want Speed Demon just because you get that extra speed. So guys, thank you for coming by and checking out this build. I've had a lot of fun making these 4 different builds. Obviously, probably my favorite of the 4. So we had the Waterbender Zane, Earthbender Mara, Firebender Mose, and then Airbender Flak. My favorite was probably the Zane one, just because I felt like we were able to take a really interesting weapon, the Hyperhydrator, and actually make it viable for the build. Then I'd probably say Mose is my second favorite just because it felt good. I would say Flak is the third, and then Earthbender or Mara would be last. With Earthbender or Mara, I like being able to use Fracture, but at the same time, I felt like we were really kind of stretching the lore a little bit. We kind of went into what would be considered Legend of Korra, which is now out on Netflix, and I'm really excited. I'm partway through season 2. I love Korra, man. I love this show. I don't know what the hate everyone had about it was. I think it's amazing. So getting a cool new Avatar lore and stuff like that is interesting for me as a longtime fan. But guys, again, thank you so much for coming by. Make sure you're dropping a thumbs up on this video, hitting that sub button. Remember, twitch.tv/Brewman778 to see all these builds being made. I hope you have a great rest of your night, day, whatever it may be. Stay smexy. Alright, I'm gonna do B-roll. I love you, Kurzo. Put that in the video. I love you, Kurzo. I love you. Put the, like, the little box saying I love you too right here. I love you, Kurzo.